Do you find your playing is lackluster? Let me show you how to make every note count. If you've ever heard Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eddie Van Halen, or any of the greats play before, you didn't actually have to see them on video to know that it was them playing. And it had very little to do with their tone compared to the way that they approach their specific notes. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to approach these notes. See, pros don't have access to scales that you don't have access to, or chords, or even in today's world, they don't have access to equipment that you can't get to, right? So it doesn't really have anything to do with those things. It truly has to do with the way that they said things, the way that they approached phrases, and more specifically than that, those phrases made of notes, how they approached individual notes. Let me explain. We can play any note like this, like this, like this, like this. So many different ways through slides, bends, pre-bends, vibrato, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slurs, etc., etc. Now, even though we kind of have an idea about that, right? We know what those bits and pieces are. Knowing it and actually doing it are two totally different things. So not only do we have to recognize what the palette of different tricks, if you will, or cliches, or things that we could grab to accentuate a note are, we need to actually do them. So it's going to have more to do with our practice of these things. A lot of times when I'm playing, what I try to do is I try to take, 2 or 3 notes that I'm playing, and whereas normally they might just sound like normal notes, like right out of a blues scale, right? If I say, even that I played with some emphasis in that I did some staccato notes, right? If I did, let me try to do it without the staccato. So if I went, did it again. It's nearly impossible to not put some feeling into it anymore for me. So, sounds boring, right? It's not very exciting. Even my rhythm, what I did there by anticipating that note, gives it some feel. But if I wanted to make that sound yet even cooler, I might go. Now I'm using some pick finesse, and I'm using some staccato notes, right? Also using a hammer on there, which before I'm not sure if I picked that or not. Either way, all of these cliches are at our behest to sound intelligent and to sound cool with what it is that we're trying to say. So taking this same phrase, hammering, choking the note so it's staccato, is helpful. Digging in with our pick, a lot of times if I really want to accent something, I might go to where we're hearing a little bit of that pick. I remember some of my favorite guitar players doing that, probably not even thinking so much, it's just that they were so emotionally into it that you'd hear little things like that. And God, it made all the difference in the world when you'd listen to George Lynch or somebody whine a note out and they would do something like that that emotionally just caught your heart. So if I took this, picked into it a little bit harder, did a hammer on, staccato there, even that note right there, what happens if I just give it a quarter bend? And then I'm here at the end, I could just do that, or I could give it a little vibrato. All those little bits and pieces there, I'm just taking 3 basic notes. I'm using about 5 different techniques there. If I wanted to emphasize it even more, and I do this all the time when I'm recording, I'll have a particular phrase and I'm like, yeah, that's great, but it needs a little something more. It needs a little spice more. especially if I'm playing something simple, which I play simple stuff all the time. I think that's sometimes the best stuff. But it's the little nuances that truly make this stuff come to life. So I might do something like, I might slide up to it before I actually initiate the note. So I've got a target note, and the difference there, might even throw in a little bend up at the end there. So right there, I'm sliding up to the target note. Hammering. Digging in with my pick while I bend. Doing a staccato. Doing a little vibrato. Might at the end there, just a little quick, get the heck out of Dodge type thing. All right, so all of these things, again, are available to you. When you're practicing, what I would suggest is taking some of the jam tracks that I give you guys at Pro Jam Tracks, one of my other channels, going there, practicing, and in your mind's eye, what I want you to do is I want you to think, okay, I'm going to emphasize this. And what you do is you really overemphasize it in your woodshed. You don't do that when you're on stage or when you're recording, because that's going to sound cliche and you're going to overdo a trick or something like that, right? So you don't want to do that. But when you're practicing this stuff, you want to try a different phrase over and over again with different nuances. This is truly going to make everything come together and sound amazing. When you listen to Eddie Van Halen, when you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, this is the sorts of things they were doing. But what happens is we just look at it as a whole. We look at it as a phrase or a solo. We're just blown away. Let's break it down to the solo. Let's break it down to the phrase. Let's break it down to the measure. Let's break it down to the note. Let's put a microscope on this and really see exactly what they're doing, because when you can do this to an individual note, when you can make that individual note magical, and then you attach it to another magical note and another magical note, now you have a magical phrase, and several magical phrases make a magical solo, and now all of a sudden you're phrasing like a pro. My friends, this is how you do it. Now go to the woodshed and do it. Take advantage of those blues tracks and all the different style tracks that I have for you over on my Jam Tracks, my Pro Jam Tracks channel here on YouTube. Friends, I'm here to help you. I'm passionate about your playing, and you being a better guitar player. Please let me help you. Leave your comments below, like and subscribe. Take advantage of the free course that I have for you. Link is below. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.